Welcome to the Sheepless Life podcast. We are your hosts, Yvonne de la Flor
and Severine Nassens, and we are the founders of the Sheepless Life Academy. Join us at sheeplesslife.com for a free and exclusive masterclass on sheepless living.
We created this podcast for women like you, who are ready and eager to live and lead without the herd mentality.
Women who are ready to be, not who your parents told you to be,
not who the system expects you to be,
not who the media wants you to be,
but who you can truly become.
So relax, step out of the herd for a moment,
grab something to sip on, and have a pencil at hand just in case you feel the urge to take some notes.
Let's get the show on the road.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to this 19th podcast, and Shana Tova to all of you. Today we are with Yvonne de la Flor from Las Vegas and Severine Nassens here in Cancun in the beautiful but rainy Mexico. And today we want to speak about the new year. It's I know that it's in Christian date it's 2018, but in the Jewish or Kabbalistic calendar, it's the year 5779. And the reason why I wanted to bring this topic to the podcast is because if you add all of those numbers, that sums up to 1, which is an important number, which marks beginnings. But the year that just ended, 5778, if you sum all of those numbers, that gives us 9. And 9 is the number of chaos. So the first thing that we want to talk about, chaos and love.
Love?
Yes.
What a way to start the podcast. 9 is the number of chaos. Welcome to the Sheepless Life podcast. Oh my gosh, that was like an Alfred Hitchcock would have been proud of your intro.
Maybe I do have maybe I could have a new job in the film industry. I don't think so. But this is this is a lot of fun, and it's a topic I'm pretty excited about. Not because 9 is chaos, but a lot of things are happening because these teachings that came to me through a dear friend. Her name is Clementina Novoa, and she has become my Kabbalah teacher. I was introduced to Kabbalah only a couple months ago, and I found it to be very interesting to learn about all the universal laws and principles that are within the Kabbalah studies, and that give you sort of a guide for life. There's a lot of truths in there, and there's a lot of pieces of the puzzle that were missing for me that have come through with the knowledge that Clementine has been sharing with me in Kabbalah. And one of the things is that we've been studying the fact that it was Rosh Hashanah on Sunday, this last Sunday, which was the New Year, the Jewish New Year or Kabbalistic New Year, changing from a year that sums into 9, representing chaos and love, as we mentioned before, going into a new year that sums into number 1, which is one of the strong numbers that marks all new beginnings, that marks action, and so on. So talking about chaos, in my personal life, for me, I can only speak for myself, but I think that many of you may resonate with this. The last 12 months have been very chaotic. They've been very chaotic for me, both in chaos and in love, because I got married last year. So that was part of my chaos. When you get married, there's a lot of chaos going on in the family, a lot of things adjusting within the family, a lot of craziness and chaos going on. So that was for me a lot of chaos, but there was also a lot of chaos in projects that I've been involved in, a lot of chaos in my personal life, in my family. But taking those teachings from the Kabbalah into account, things are definitely getting better. And I can understand now why all the chaos was there. And there is something in transcendental rebirthing, right, Yvonne, about chaos in
Yes.
9?
Yes.
Please share
Yes.
with us.
So, wow, what an intro. So, Shana Tova,
Shana Tova.
Rosh Hashanah was this past Sunday, correct? correct. And then I really like this. I really like this new year, even though I was not raised under the Jewish religion. I think this is one of the most sacred holidays because of the respect to the teachings that has passed through generations and generations intact over the years. But the numerology of the new year that you were talking about. So again, I don't know why I can't keep that number in my mind. It's 5,700 and what?
79 is the new year.
Okay,
5779.
79, which equals 1. But you said that the last year was number 9. So from my systemic perspective, where I use a tool for, my life mission to support people like really attain sustainable results by healing, past trauma wounds through this systemic holistic work called transcendental birthing. Number 9, I think everybody can resonate. That is also the number of birth. Is the number of most of the times, not all of the times, of that a child is inside the womb. Some babies are born at 7 months, 6 months, 8 months, but usually the nature of it is it's for 9 months, and 9 months represents birth. Nine represents also rebirth, but 9 also represents, you said the word chaos. It also represents creative opposition. So for me, last year has been so intense in business, in relationships, in closing things, in discovering things, in completing situations, in having these opportunities disguised as challenges to birth myself anew. And so the challenges of the last year for me means the contractions of this new year that is, as you said, number 1. And number 1, what does it represent? For many people, it's like, oh my gosh, new year, new beginning. So imagine that number 9 is the womb, the baby's in the womb, the baby's going to be born. Sebe, you and I are mothers. We are all super excited to meet that child, and we love the child, and we adore the children. I mean, we love our children. We'll do whatever we can forever and ever for them. But when they're born, isn't that the most challenging thing?
Yes.
I mean, the ecstasy and the bliss of the high of birthing is amazing. But the first time when you're a firstborn parent, right, that is a new beginning. It's number 1. The days of lack of sleep. I mean, I can remember how many times I would have changed a diaper that were recycled, and I used to look at me. I used to use, look at me. I used to wear diapers. Yes, once upon a time. Yeah. I used to wear, my daughter used to use the cloth diapers. Ooh. Can you imagine that? I don't know what I was thinking of. But anyways, the times that she woke up or my other boys woke up for feeding and peeing and pooing and all of the things that you thought, I'm done, I'm going to rest, and waking up as soon as it's incredible. The new beginnings is not that they bring more challenges. It just brings an invitation for the old, the number 9, to die. Yes. So you can welcome the 1, the new.
Yes, it absolutely makes sense. And there's a beautiful tradition when you celebrate Rosh Hashanah, you bake bread. Well, the women bake the bread. And this year, one of my best friends, he's Jewish. So we spent Rosh Hashanah at his house with his family. And I made the bread for Rosh Hashanah. And when you do make that bread, you take 10% of the bread. And once the bread is done baking it, you take the bread out of the oven, but you leave that 10% in the oven until it completely burns. And that represents burning off all the old, letting go of the old ego, of the old habits, of all the things that you do not want to take with you into the new year, into the new beginning. So I think it's a very beautiful symbolic tradition that the Jewish community have. And I was really honored that I was able to participate and actually do that. And it actually served. During the time I was preparing the bread, I thought about all the things that I wanted to let go, and I didn't want to bring into the new year, especially this being a transition from 9 into 1, letting go, closing cycles off, letting them go into the past, parking the past, as we do in the Sheepless Life Academy, parking that past and starting anew in a brand new beginning, a brand new year, filled with good intentions, filled with positive energy, so that we can make the best of this new opportunity, this very new year. So I think it's a beautiful tradition, and I'm very happy that I was able to actually live this experience through the teachings of Kabbalah, and together with my Jewish friends, to go through that, because I do not belong to the Jewish community myself. But I think it's a beautiful tradition, and it's great that these traditions are kept alive. And now through Kabbalah, teachings are actually open for anyone who is interested in learning more. And these traditions, they go really, really way back. And there's a lot to learn, but that is for another day. One of the other things that we wanted to share with you on this podcast is about the power of intention, on how you can, because every new year on the 31st of December, we also set up our new intentions for the new year, and so on and so on. But I think it's very important also to reflect on what the past year has been like before you set new intentions. Let go, like the burning of the bread represents letting go of all the old stuff and setting brand new, powerful intentions for the new year.
That's really cool. So I love that. I love what first the new year of it started the Rosh Hashanah and the Shana Tova again 5,007. Tell me again.
5,779.
79, which is numerology 1, and it's talking about the power of intention. So we spoke about the last year, the numerology 9 of the previous year was the 9, the chaos, the challenge, the announcement of rebirth, right? The announcement of the new year celebration, and how that chaos represents a creative opposition, a contraction that announces the new birth. Now, once we birth and once we die into the old, and I love that. I just want to highlight that tradition. I saw your pictures on Facebook of the bread you were baking. I was like, oh my gosh, and I'm in this keto vegan kind of lifestyle. I'm just gonna skip it, right? But I didn't know what you just shared, that you bake the bread and you let 10% of the bread burn. And what a metaphor for our lives. What a metaphor for the concept of the ego, right? And I always say the concept of the ego because one of my teachers one time, Byron Katie, actually said, if Freud didn't exist, Yvonne, would you still believe in the ego? I was like a blank state, right? In that moment, my mind was like, right, and sometimes, that concept of the ego, we use it in the spiritual niche. We even use it as a weapon, right? As a weapon to tell others, this is their ego, this is your ego, you're probably reacting from ego. And I love that the way that this process, this ritual honors the ego, not as an enemy, but as something that hopefully we learn from. Hopefully we learn from our mistakes. Hopefully we're letting go of the old self and renewing ourselves and rebirthing ourselves anew into this new person that, as you said, we park the past. We teach that in the Sheepless Life Academy, in the Sheepless Life 3.0, the future of you. That's the first 2 weeks. That's the most challenging weeks of parking the past, but with honor. I love that you bake the bread and then you eat it. And the 10%, I love that it's just a 10%, because sometimes in the spiritual community or any community, marketing, coaching, business, we use the concept of the ego as if it was the 100% of the person. And if we label ourselves, people, time, places, situations as 100% of what they are not, we don't really have the opportunity. We kill the opportunity for ourselves to start the new year, which happens every moment that we never bread, and start anew to set an intention. And now, what you said, the third aspect of this podcast that we're recording, and that is available on iTunes, iHeartRadio, and Spreaker. Just saying it because I decided to go live on my personal Instagram, by the way.
Super.
For those of you who are listening live also on any of these devices. But the power of intention. Ralph Waldo Emerson said something so powerful that it has become a motto in my life, a motto in my business. I am not always successful on it, but it helps me return back to my center when I get how do you say it in English? Astray of the path?
Astray,
How would you
yes.
say it?
If you get astray, if you wander off.
Yes. And he says intention is vested with power. Intention is vested with power. And that what does it mean? If your intention is to hurt someone, guess what? You're going to be dressed with those clothes. You end up hurting yourself. If your intention is clarity, you're going to wear those clothes. You're going to vest yourself with that frequency, with that call for manifestation. If your intention is, whatever your intention is going to have power. So that's why it's so important in these new years, new beginnings, and every new breath, every new morning, we have a new year, a now moment, a new breath to choose different, to act wiser, and to have clarity, precision, and to use our intention and know that our intention is vested with power. I believe that intention is a high advanced technology of consciousness. Yes. And sometimes we live by intention, but we are not specifically clear. And talk to me, because you did this by the Kabbalah tradition. You did what is known as a vision board. In Futuring, when I teach, I call it the Futurnometer, the Visionometer. That is a little bit different, but kind of the concept is the same. Tell me about how you use the power of your intention.
Well, as this new year starts, the group of ladies that I'm studying with, we all set out to make a vision board or a life projection based on four elements, on fire, air, earth, and water. And basically the fire part represents the service that I am wanting to do during this new year. The earth part is where all of my projects and manifestations are located in onto the big piece of paper, with the exercise I want to do, the work that I want to do, the money I want to make, things that I would like to buy, and so on, that I'm already working towards, projects in progress. The air represents the dreams and learnings, teachings that I want to obtain during this year. And the other part, the water part, represents the social part of us. But what we want to do, what we may want to do is next time, for next week's on the 20th podcast, how about we teach people, we give all the tips between what I've learned here with this and what you teach in Futuring on setting on the Visionometer. How about we set that out for our listeners so that they can grab a piece of paper and start setting up their own Visionometer or vision board for next week, because it's I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into that, and I think we can fill up a podcast.
But I said, let me I heard something, just to leave the incredible friends and the ones that are like have been following us and supporting the Shiftless Life podcast, right? You said something very powerful about the power of intention. You gave me 3 steps. We spoke about this before, on how you really, because intention will have the magnitude of 3 things, right? And you were not only clear and specific, kind of like goal setting, but this is a little deeper level. Not only clear and specific of what you want, right? 2, you had a lot of, I don't know how you said it in Spanish, but it was like euphoria. You had so much passion. You have so much ignition. Yeah, you have this euphoria, this absolute belief in that the intention that you have that is vested with power to manifest your desired goal, your desired outcome, your desired business, your desired moment of self-realization, God realization. You got to be clear and specific. Yes. Number 2, you have to have incredible passion. If you do not have passion, the energy, you won't have the frequency and the amount of the energy of believing that what your intention is, it's possible to be manifested. Yeah. And anybody can have an intention. Anybody can write down goals. Anybody can put a vision board, a picture of a hot girl, hot boy. I want this car, I want this business, I want this money. But really few people manifest towards fulfillment. And why? Because intention is vested with power. When number 1, we take action, immediate action upon it. Yes. two, we keep the traction going by staying focused. And
Yes,
you
the
have stayed
focus.
so focused, Severine. And I just want to share this because I think this serves people. When you have an intention, when the old ends, when you're being called to die onto the old of yourself, the old habits, the old relationships, the old acquaintanceships, even old friendships that together you can no longer go to the next level of both your evolutions. It's you will all keep evolving, but you got to let go.
Yes.
You can't enter into the new with an old habits, wearing the old intentions. They're kind of rusty. They cannot manifest anything more than that which you have already manifested before.
And they
And
drag you
so,
down.
right. And so when you have your intention, and we spoke about this before, you got to stay so focused. And so you are clear, you have passion and absolute conviction that you can manifest your intention and focus. Because guess what happens? When the new year, the new ideas, the new focus begins, distractions are going to show up everywhere. I don't know for you, but for me, it's like, this is the new project and I believe in it. And it's like a battalion of tests. It's like, oh, look, someone has a new conviction, a new faith. Let's test that person. Let's try to move everything. Let's even gossip about this person. Let's create all of these phenomena. And if we give our power, right, we know that where attention goes, energy flows. If we give up our power to something that is not our intention, we're going to drift.
Yes.
And when we drift, we lose the power of our intent, and we dilute the power of manifestation, and we end up repeating all over again the same.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
So next podcast, what we're gonna do, if I understood you well, we're gonna teach people how to not only share how we have done it, right? You're gonna share how to create not the typical vision board or the goal boards that everybody does, but from a Kabbalist perspective, right?
Yes.
Coming from your teachings of the Kabbalah that you are learning from your beautiful teacher Clementine. And what I will share as we create the vision board is from a futurist, and it's from the futuring system that you can create a visionometer that can direct you more clearly, more specific, less emotionally, you guys, still with heart, but less emotionally engaged in manifesting, in creating, in attracting, and the intentions you have in your life. So,
amazing.
Anything else, Evelyn?
Well, I just want to confirm that it works, because I've set up my vision boards, and I do this quite often. Every time I change projects and things like that, I set up a vision board, and I've put my intention so strongly on this last year. And also we had like 7 days before the Rosh Hashanah, where we did a whole bunch of rituals of letting go and doing service to the old. So letting go and parking all of that, to bring into the new year with a clear intention, and just like you said, with a lot of focus, a lot of passion, and with this determination of making things happen. And we're only a couple days into the new year, and we've already been able to close 2 contracts that we were waiting for. We've been waiting for these contracts for like 3 months.
Congratulations.
And it just happened. Wow. It was so amazing to see this. And that's why I'm so passionate about this, because I know it works. And it's like, okay, there was like an energetic shift as the year changed.
Let me say something. Yeah, let me just say something so that we can support the people that are listening. So, Severine, I've been witnessing how incredibly focused you are. And this contract that you manifested, that you clearly state your intention, that you not only did the vision board, but you took action, consistent action. You didn't drift or waver your intention. And sometimes, when you are manifesting, and you manifested these contracts that we're not talking only about thousands of, it's not only about money, it's not only about thousands of dollars, but it's the potency that this has for you to serve others, make others people's lives, because I know the work that you do, right? The work that you do and your company is really, you grow the people's businesses and investments in a way that their lifestyle and their family and everything can benefit from that. But what I do want to say is that some people, and so don't give up when you set up an intention. Don't give up when someone told me that when you have a good intention, there's going to be a gang of apparent enemies. They're just angels in disguise, you guys, that will probably tell you this is never going to work. Give up on that. It's your ego. You shouldn't do this. Look at what terrible things they're doing. Don't listen to them. Those are they're cheering you up, but in reverse. They're your cheerleaders in disguise. Don't give up when you set an intention. I am a witness of what you have been manifesting, Severin. So I can wait for the next podcast where we can share with people very specific tools on how they can make a vision board. And as you said, maybe we can put some pictures and maybe we can recommend for the next podcast some tools that they can bring so we can share from the Kabbalist perspective and the futuring system how to make a vision board that not only helps them manifest their intention, but helps you stay focused. Because when the storm comes, you got to stay clear in the power of you.
And the focus will pull you through. Thank you so much, Yvonne. I'm so excited. Hallelujah. I'm so excited about next week, I can't wait, and I'm so happy to be able to share. And so if this information is useful to you, if you like this podcast, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends and family so that we can reach more people and help you out. So an honor, and we'll hear you next week.
Subscribe to this weekly podcast on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher. Share your thoughts with us on Facebook.com/Sheepless Life Academy and learn firsthand how to live a sheepless life with Yvonne and receive an exclusive in-depth masterclass at sheeplesslife.com.